Sweden. A nation defined not just by its history, but by its harmony with the land, the sea, and the sky. This is a country of contrasts, where 100,000 lakes reflect forests older than empires, and thousands of islands scatter like stepping stones across shimmering seas. A place where Viking legends were born, their stories echoing across distant shores. These are the wonders of Sweden. Its story begins over 1,000 years ago with the Rus, Swedish Vikings. But they weren't just warriors. They were explorers and traders who traveled beyond the known world, bringing back treasures and ideas that shaped a nation. By the Middle Ages, Sweden stood alongside its Scandinavian neighbors. But unity came at a cost. In 1523, Gustav Vasa led a rebellion that won Sweden its independence, laying the foundation for a powerful kingdom. But while wars raged across Europe, Sweden chose a different path: peace over conflict, and progress over conquest. This is a nation carved by time and strengthened by its people, where its history is etched into its very landscapes, its culture, and its soul. Fjällbacka. First recorded in 1617, a small coastal settlement grew into one of Bohuslen's most vital fishing hubs, Fjällbacka. The herring boom of the 18th century transformed its fortunes, filling the harbor with fishermen's cries and lively markets. Colorful wooden houses rise along narrow streets leading to the harbor, a lifeline shaped by centuries of change. Towering above is Vätterberget, a granite mountain over 250 million years old. Shaped by ancient geological forces and Ice Age glaciers, its sheer cliffs are inseparable from the village's identity. The mountain cradles the village and casts its shadow across the harbor, tying land and sea into a single story of resilience. From its summit, the Bohuslen archipelago stretches into the horizon, a vast expanse of over 8,000 rocky islets carved by millennia of waves and winds. Kiruna. At the edge of the world, above the Arctic Circle, lies Sweden's northernmost town, Kiruna, where snow blankets the landscape for nearly 8.5 months each year. Bright red and yellow wooden houses scatter across the streets, their charm a vivid contrast to the Arctic white. Within the town stands Sweden's most beautiful church. Inspired by Sami tents and Gothic design, its deep red exterior and wooden interior create a striking yet peaceful landmark. Kiruna owes its existence to iron ore mining, which transformed the Arctic wilderness into an industrial hub. In winter, frozen landscapes become trails for dog sledding and snowmobiling, making this Arctic town a place of resilience and wonder. Ristafallet Waterfall. The Indalselven River winds through the forests of Jämtland County, carving valleys and ancient rock formations. Over millennia, its steady flow shaped the rugged cliffs and terrain that define the region. As the river gathers strength, it transforms into something extraordinary. Ristafallet Waterfall, a breathtaking cascade plunging 14 meters across a 50-meter wide span. Its crashing waters collide with moss-covered cliffs, casting mist into the air where sunlight scatters it into shimmering patterns. This mist nourishes the lush vegetation below. Ferns and wildflowers thrive in the cool, damp environment, while dense forests sway with the rhythm of the roaring waters. Sami traditions honor Ristafallet as sacred ground, where earth and water converge and spirits dwell. Smögen. Amid centuries of shifting tides, Smögen grew into a village shaped by the forces of the sea and the tales of its people. In the 19th century, it became a key hub for Sweden's fishing industry, fueling markets across Europe and driving local prosperity. At its heart lies Smögenbryggan, a nearly kilometer-long wooden boardwalk lined with colorful boathouses, shops, and cafes. It reflects the village's transformation from a fishing stronghold to a thriving community. Spanning rocky islands linked by narrow canals, its granite cliffs bear the marks of millennia of waves and winds. The canals serve as lifelines for boats navigating the rugged islets, connecting the harbor to the archipelago beyond. Where sea, stone, and history converge, Smögen unfolds, a village inseparable from the archipelago that defines it. Malmö. One of the oldest cities in the Skåne region, Malmö traces its origins to the late 1200s as a modest fishing village. By the 14th century, it had grown into a key Hanseatic trade hub, shaped by vital ports and iconic brick landmarks. The city's canals, originally built for trade and defense, now wind through neighborhoods of historic facades and shaded promenades. Its streets weave together medieval brick structures, sleek modern designs, and revitalized industrial spaces, reflecting centuries of evolution. Rising 190 meters above the skyline is Scandinavia's tallest building, the Turning Torso. Designed by Santiago Calatrava, its twisting form captures both artistic vision and engineering brilliance. Visible from nearly every part of the city, it symbolizes Malmö's transformation. Pildamsparken, a 45-hectare park created for the 1914 Baltic exhibition, remains a cherished green space. At its center lies a serene lake surrounded by fountains, flower gardens, and winding paths. At the city's edge, a remarkable connection stretches across the water, linking Malmö to Copenhagen. Öresund Bridge. A bridge that disappears into the sea and reemerges miles away. This is the Öresund Bridge, a feat of engineering that connects Sweden and Denmark. At its midpoint, the bridge seems to vanish, transitioning into the Drogden Tunnel, which continues into Copenhagen. Each section was built on land, floated into position, and submerged with precision to create an uninterrupted underwater passage. But the Öresund Bridge is more than a structure. It carries a highway, a railway, and the shared vision of two nations. Visby. Known as the City of Roses, Visby's medieval walls and blooming gardens echo its rich history. Its 13th century walls stretch over 3 kilometers, crowned with watchtowers and anchored by a formidable fortress. Built to guard its wealth and power, this stronghold became a cornerstone of Visby's defenses. Within the walls, cobblestone streets weave through medieval homes, ruins, and abandoned churches. These crumbling sanctuaries, remnants of nearly 17 churches, stand as haunting symbols of the city's golden age and eventual decline. But beyond its storied walls, Visby embraces the sea. Its harbor, once a gateway for goods and trade, tells the tale of a city that has weathered wars and time itself. Marstrand. Founded in the 13th century, the island of Marstrand became a prized outpost, passed between Swedish, Danish, and Norwegian rule, until finally becoming Swedish in 1658. The town captures the essence of its maritime heritage, with its colorful houses and a harbor steeped in centuries of trade and seafaring. The waters that once carried trade and conflict now carry the rhythm of daily life. Karlston Fortress, completed in the 17th century, stands as a lasting reminder of Marstrand's strategic importance. Built to protect the coastline and maritime routes, it also served as a prison. Today, the fortress stands sentinel over the island, a symbol of its history shaped by the sea, trade, and resilience. Kullaberg. The oldest rocks in Scandinavia, over 600 million years old, rise above the Baltic Sea. Kullaberg's granite cliffs are etched with caves and jagged formations. This headland juts into the water, its sheer cliffs defying the tides. The Baltic crashes at its base as winds sweep across the rocky terrain, where hardy plants cling for survival. Part of the 4,200-acre Kullaberg Nature Reserve, its slopes are dotted with grazing sheep, their quiet presence a contrast to the untamed landscape. The reserve safeguards Kullaberg's cliffs along with the surrounding forests and coastline, preserving its natural beauty and wildlife. The nearby town of Mola, at the base of Kullaberg, once drew travelers seeking the wild beauty of Scandinavia. Once a humble fishing village, its historic harbor now serves as a quiet gateway to the cliff, where nature's power reigns. Borgholm Castle. Consumed by a fire in 1806, Borgholm Castle is a haunting monument to power reduced to ash. Perched on the island of Öresund, the castle began as a medieval stronghold in the 12th century, built to protect trade routes and assert Sweden's control over the Baltic. By the 17th century, it had been transformed into a grand Renaissance palace under King Charles X Gustav, spanning 31,250 square meters, making it one of the largest castles in Scandinavia. But then, a fire ravaged the castle, consuming its vast interior and reducing its once grand structure to haunting ruins. Its open ceilings now frame the sky, while ivy creeps along crumbling arches and weathered halls. The castle's commanding presence blends with Öresund's rugged landscape, an austere beauty that feels timeless, yet fragile. Rauks of Gotland. Born from coral reefs over 400 million years ago, the Rauks of Gotland rise like fragments of another world carved by nature's hand. These ancient reefs once thrived in warm Silurian seas. Tectonic shifts lifted them from the ocean floor, transforming coral into limestone. Wind and waves sculpted these towering monoliths, eroding weaker rock to reveal their striking forms. Some stand jagged and sharp, others smooth and weathered, their shapes sometimes resembling human figures or mythical beasts. Local lore speaks of giants turned to stone, punished for their defiance of the gods. Ice Hotel Jukkasjärvi. Each winter, the Ice Hotel rises anew, a fleeting marvel sculpted entirely from ice and snow. Built from over 2,500 tons of crystal-clear ice from the Torne River and 30,000 tons of packed snow, it only takes 6 weeks to construct. From towering arches to intricate carvings, every detail is hand-sculpted by artists from around the globe, making each creation unique. Inside, the hotel resembles a frozen palace. Shimmering ice sculptures adorn its halls, while glowing chandeliers cast soft bluish light that dances on crystal-clear walls. Vaulted ceilings soar above rooms, furnished with beds carved from solid ice and thermal sleeping bags to keep guests warm at -5 degrees Celsius. Every corner reveals breathtaking details, ice art that seems alive under the shifting Arctic light. When spring arrives, the hotel melts back into the river, finally completing its cycle, an extraordinary tribute to nature's impermanence and creativity. Tjolöholm Castle. Born from ambition, Tjolöholm Castle captures vision, artistry, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Rooted in the 16th century, the estate was transformed by James Frederick and Blanche Dixon, blending tradition with innovation to create a masterpiece. The castle reflects the arts and crafts movement, Tudor England reimagined through a Swedish lens. Surrounding gardens blend formal landscaping with Sweden's rugged coastline, where pathways meet the Kattegatt Sea, a lasting symbol of artistry, progress, and ambition. Lake Busjön. Under the vast Nordic sky, Lake Busjön stretches as a shimmering expanse of water, framed by dense forests and shaped by ancient glaciers. Its crystal-clear waters shift with the light, from vivid blues to silvery hues, reflecting Sweden's timeless landscapes. Lake Busjön holds a place in Sweden's cultural lore, where the legends of Naken linger. The enigmatic water spirit is said to play haunting violin melodies at the lake, adding a layer of mysticism to its stillness. Its quiet waters and unspoiled surroundings weave together nature's artistry and folklore, a lasting connection to the landscapes and stories that define Sweden. Stenar. 59 massive stones rise from the earth in a ship-like formation, shrouded in mystery. Known as Sweden's Stonehenge, Stenar dates back over 1,400 years, making it one of Scandinavia's most enigmatic prehistoric sites. Each stone carries the weight of an ancient civilization's secrets, fueling endless speculation. Some believe it to be a burial monument, while others, an ancient astronomical calendar. Perched on a hill overlooking the Baltic, it aligns with the setting sun during midsummer, suggesting a celestial significance. But evidence points to its connection with a larger network of ancient landmarks, reflecting its role in the cultural and spiritual life of its creators. Karlskrona. Spanning 33 islands in the Blekinge archipelago, Karlskrona became the heart of Sweden's naval ambitions during an era of expansion and conflict. Each island tells its own story, from urban centers to tranquil natural retreats, forming a diverse mosaic of life by the sea. The city's architecture mirrors this harmony of land and water. Brightly colored facades, reds, yellows, and whites, line cobblestone streets that overlook the harbor, adding warmth to the archipelago. This interplay of land, sea, and history defines Karlskrona, a city where each island contributes to a narrative shaped by the Baltic. Kalmar Castle. In 1397, the Kalmar Union was signed here, uniting Denmark, Sweden, and Norway under a single crown, a defining moment in Scandinavian history. Built in the 12th century, the castle started as a fortified tower, guarding trade routes along the Baltic Sea. But in the 16th century, King Gustav Vasa transformed it into a grand Renaissance palace. Surrounded by a moat and overlooking the sea, Kalmar Castle is one of Sweden's best preserved fortresses. Abisko National Park. Nestled in the far north of Sweden, Abisko National Park spans 77 square kilometers of Arctic wilderness. Established in 1909, it was one of Sweden's first national parks, created to protect its unique landscapes and biodiversity. Framed by towering mountains and the vast expanse of Torneträsk Lake, the park reveals the unyielding beauty of the Arctic. The Abisko River flows through the park's heart. Its waters cut through rugged terrain, shaping smooth, polished stones and deep glacial grooves. Abisko transforms into a frozen expanse in winter. The stillness heightens the park's untamed wilderness, creating a landscape that feels both vast and intimate. The Abisko Canyon, carved deep into ancient rock, is a striking feature. Frosted cliffs reveal layers of slate-gray stone, while icy rocks line the river below. From the canyon bridge, the frozen grandeur of the chasm and its quiet depths unfold. Abisko National Park is a land of constant transformation, a wilderness that feels eternal, yet ever-changing. Gothenburg. Carved along the Göta River, Gothenburg is Sweden's second largest city and a historic gateway to the North Sea. Founded in 1621 by King Gustavus Adolphus, it was designed as a fortress to guard Sweden's western coastline. Gothenburg's diverse landscapes enhance its charm. Rugged coastlines transition into tranquil lakes and forests, while cobblestone streets and colorful houses flow seamlessly with the city's waterways. Scandinavia's largest port has long been its lifeline, connecting Sweden to the world with harbors filled with trade, travelers, and ideas. Its significance endures as a symbol of Sweden's maritime strength. On the edge of the city lies Skansen Kronen, perched on Riseberget Hill. The fortress was built as part of Gothenburg's defensive fortifications, intended to deter Danish invasions during a time of constant rivalry. Beyond the urban center, nature flourishes. Delshörn, a peaceful lake surrounded by dense forests, offers a tranquil escape, while the coastline reflects Gothenburg's seafaring legacy. In Långedrag, sailboats glide across shimmering waters, echoing the city's maritime roots. Stockholm Archipelago. Scattered across the Baltic Sea, the Stockholm Archipelago spans more than 30,000 islands, islets, and skerries. Shaped by the Ice Age, glaciers carved deep channels and left rocky outcrops, forming a mosaic of granite shores, pine forests, and tranquil coves. Under Nordic light, the waters shimmer blue and silver, carrying boats that glide gracefully between the islands. Each island holds its own charm. Barren outcrops cradle seabird nests, while lush retreats are dotted with red cottages hidden among the trees. At its gateway stands Vaxholm Fortress. Its imposing walls reflect a time when these waters were Sweden's first line of defense. As the archipelago stretches toward the horizon, its glistening waters guide the way to Sweden's capital city. Stockholm, where Lake Mälaren meets the Baltic Sea. 14 islands and over 50 bridges create a city defined by water and history. Known as the Venice of the North, Stockholm merges old-world charm with modern innovation. Gamla stan, the Old Town, marks the city's beginnings. Its cobblestone streets wind through medieval squares, while ochre and red facades speak to centuries of trade and craftsmanship. Bridges link Gamla stan to modern Stockholm, where the city hall reflects progress and tradition. The Grand Halls host the annual Nobel Prize banquet, celebrating human achievement on a global scale. Stockholm's churches reflect its spiritual and architectural heritage. The Gustav Vasa Church, with its neoclassical dome and gilded interiors, showcases the city's opulent side. Green spaces breathe vitality into the city's rhythm. Karlaplan Park, with its tree-lined avenues, offers a tranquil retreat. Once envisioned as part of a grand city plan, it harmonizes nature and structured design. Here, where land meets water, Stockholm's shimmering waterways mirror its past and present, flowing seamlessly into its future.